Did I not just make a video telling you this was going to happen? That companies view vloggers as utter morons incapable of keeping the drool out of their mouth, and they're only going to make the cameras worse and worse directed at us, just YouTubers trying to make a living, trying to provide some joy. Panasonic has somehow irritated my blood. I can feel the itching throughout each vein, and there's no cure. I was at the meeting. I filmed it with the Nikon 85mm 1.2, and it was like magical looking, but the words I was hearing were desperate and sad. Alright fellas, I'm tired of being disrespected around here. Nobody buys Panasonic. We're the laughing stock of the camera industry, and I'm sad inside. My wife won't sleep with me. We have to invent something that brings Panasonic to the top. No more of this Canon, Sony, Nikon monopoly. What can we do to be the top? Boss, it's all about YouTubers now. They've taken over the camera industry. Nobody wants a camera that takes photos. We need YouTube creator stuff for little kids who are like sharing their days. Oh, I went to the mall. It's boring as hell, but we have to cater to them or we're out of business. What happened to tradition? I miss photographs and Japanese people and like gowns. How come you're not wearing a gown? Alright, whatever, man. Let's just make a vlogging camera. They don't need much. They're morons. They're not morons. They can't feed themselves or like wash properly. They have to watch instructional videos on how to do these things. But eventually they learn and they can repeat and mimic like a monkey could. So we have to give them something. I mean, we got the Sony ZVE1. That's fantastic. Like, we have to beat that, obviously. So let's just do it. Panasonic IBIS in a tiny body, 4K 120p HD 300 from the G9 II with autofocus, of course. Let's put everything we have into this thing, and people will be screaming Panasonic in bed with their wives who let them sleep with them. So there's a tiny Sony camera that does 4K 120p HD 240. The Sigma FP, that does RAW internally. Okay, let's be different by doing less of all those things. Little 4K 60 with a crop. Let's just use our Panasonic S5 II sensor, strip it down so it's much worse and overheats and can only be recorded for like 12 seconds. And then those little vlogger TikToks when they're shorts, that'll sell. Okay, we veered off a mountain pretty hard there, boss. Like, we need to keep up with the competition. If you want to be known amongst the big boys, we have to beat them at something. So, like, yeah, it's lightweight, that's cool, but, like, what do you mean 12-second recording limit? You're joking, right? Yeah, I was joking. What do you think, I'm going to put a little limit on the recording? People do talking head videos. This is for content creators. They sit down for, like, half an hour or so, so of course we'll keep up with that in HD, like almost 30 minutes in HD. It's a good camera. Do you have a form that I could fill out to fire myself? I don't trust you or your judgments. I'm embarrassed to come to work. I come in through the back door. Panasonic, what happened to you?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Nikon ZF with the 28mm Tony 2.8, just to prove a couple points. I think you know why. But I wrote some notes. I wrote a couple down. So I'm not bitter for not being sent the camera. I was invited to Japan. I could have went. I can't picture myself going into this YouTube circus where it's just a carnival and people are vlogging next to each other, all talking into cameras. I didn't want that alternate reality to become mine, where we're just side by side, egotistically talking into camera. Hey, look at this, bro, LUTs, real-time LUTs. And I'm like, yeah, man, look at the Stabe. And we're just like, a YouTuber convention, like, kill me, please, first, before you invite me there. So, sorry, I had to decline. Thank you so much for the offer, flying me out there for free. Like, that would have been fantastic for all of you. But I couldn't do it. And the time difference, getting there, and it's like a complete half day around our flat earth, I just did not want to adapt to that. So that's what happened with the G9 II or the S5 II release. And I said, like, sorry, I don't want to go to Japan. And they sent it to me to review. This time they ghosted my ass. I don't know why. I think they knew what was coming, and let's let it come now. So I just made that video about how Olympus viewed this new generation of content creators as just, they need simplified versions. We're not all there. We were hit with frying pans, and we don't know how to do anything. So like vlogging cameras, Sony has shown this with the ZVE1. It's like stripped down basic version, and people are buying it, and it's a fantastic look. I totally still have it. What are you talking about? But for YouTube pros like me, we're waiting for something to beat the Sony a7S III. We already have amazing stuff. Like, what's next? We're only getting dumbed down versions of the S5 II competed with the a7 IV, which is much worse than the a7S III. So that's the territory we're competing with. You get those specs in a tinier body, but does any of it work for more than 4 minutes? So here's the reality. Panasonic S9, it's heavier than the Sony ZVE1. Let that sink in. 3 grams heavier. Would you notice it? It depends how drunk you were. You might. Some people can tune into something special, the 7th sense. And it's like, yeah, that is a... So it's heavier than the ZVE1, but the ZVE1 does 4K 120 with a measly 10% crop. That's nothing, basically. 4K 60, no crop. Panasonic does 4K 60 APS-C crop. Ouch. And then we're doing HD 240, no crop, autofocus on the ZVE1. Panasonic, what are you doing in that spec? 120p maybe? Autofocus? And don't try to pretend that your 24 megapixels takes so much better photos than the Sony ZVE1. That's why you buy the Panasonic. It has no shutter mechanism, and it's not fast enough to allow that a reality. Usually cameras that remove the shutter are so fast that there's no banding. It's like, it's just as good as a regular shutter. Electronic is the new future. Okay, but not in this camera. It's slow as hell. And so banding, warping. Here's the thing that boggles my mind. Like, I can't believe we're even having these discussions. This thing records for 15 minutes and it shuts off. But it's somehow designed for content creators. I've never sat down in my life for shorter than 50, at least 30 minutes. Usually when I'm doing a talking head, it's like 30, sometimes 26. Like, we're in that ballpark. Sometimes I go beyond it because a lot of cameras used to have the 30-minute record limit, and I would notice that, oh, it shut off before I was even done. So it's like, that happens. This, if you go like for a little vlog, and you're doing short clips, okay, I understand that. Just like, oh, my 4K 120 overheats at 15 minutes, what the hell, man? Like, yeah, that is 20 seconds max. Like, that's a long time. All my 4K 120 is like 8 seconds, boom, boom, boom. But talking stuff, you talk longer, 15 minutes. And it might overheat. That's the thing. Like, do you get 15 minutes and then you can start it again? Or does it just overheat at some point and you can't even make a YouTube video? And the HD is also limited to 20 minutes. I've never seen such restrictions. Like, why are we so obsessed with getting the camera as small as possible, but it can't do anything? How small does it need to be? Like this lens. We're on the 28mm 2.8. Panasonic releases a 26mm Tony 8. It's slightly lighter, okay, but it's manual focus only. It doesn't take lens caps. There's not even a lens cap on it. They put some protective filter, which you're gonna touch at some point. Oh, fingerprints. Oh boy. You can't put filters on it. There's no glimmer glass. You see that lamp? It's glimmering, isn't it? Because it's glass on a filter. This autofocuses. It's just a bit heavier, but it's so light that it doesn't even register on an earthquake monitor. So like on paper, you have some cool stuff with your 6K open gate and all. Like, who cares if it doesn't work for more than 8 seconds? And by the way, the only reason I'm using this lens is to show Panasonic that, like, what the hell were you thinking? Even the 26mm 2.8 is even smaller than this one. It has some grindy autofocusing noises, but oh damn, that's a fantastic lens. Whereas, like, what the hell? Like, how come so many compromises just to get the size a little? Like, we're not that obsessed with the size. The other reason I'm using this lens and being so far away is because I have eye aids. Again, big lump in my eye. That brings us to the real-time LUT feature. You color grade it after. That's part of the joy. Why do you want to bake in a file? And where do you get these LUTs from? Oh, I'll just upload my own LUTs. I don't have LUTs. I don't make them. I use the Panasonic official LUT, or I do the color space transform in DaVinci. Where are these LUTs? So like you're starting a LUT business or something? Oh, I bought phantom LUTs. I can put them right on Panasonic. Bake it in. Why would you want to bake in any look? Change it after. What if you don't like that? Oh shit, I used a Fuji Eternal LUT. That doesn't look right at all. Like, just color grade after. Connecting to a smartphone and doing all these things, and it's social media friendly. I can upload so fast with this. Who cares? Is that the world we're headed to? What happened to grandfathers making benches? What's happening? You're not Fuji Film Sims. I don't know what you're even pretending to do. In Fuji, you select a bunch of different cool professional looks of film days that Fuji made. Whereas you, Panasonic LUTs, you can use some random ass LUTs on the internet that you find. Or if you make them yourself, if you're that kind of nerd and you know what you're doing with tweaking reds into the blues and make blues look like pink, I'm with you. I do it all the time. Boom. Like, this is my style, but you couldn't replicate this. Come on. Like, so I could embed this into my Panasonic footage and it would look like that and overheat in 14 minutes. That brings us to the 18 to 40 Tony 4.5 to 6.3 lens. That is totally different than the 20 to 60 3.5 to 5.6. Totally needed. You should buy both at the same time if you really want to complement the ultimate all-in-one 2 lens package. What a compliment those things are to each other. Marriage in heaven, you might say. So we have like 2 millimeters wider, 20 millimeters shorter. Tonies increased 19%. I just guessed that number. For what? Like another super lightweight thing? Shouldn't I just be allowed to storm into a camera building, the headquarters, and just say, like, what are you guys doing? Like, here's the direction. I just lay a blueprint on the table. And it's like, here, work on that. I'm out of here. I'm getting lunch. It's on me. You coming? Nobody's doing anything. And it took them so long to make this, probably. That the last, like, 2 years they were working on this S9 and that lens. You already have the 20 to 60 and it's brighter. Why? How much lighter could this 18 be? As I've been testing this Nikon ZF over the past 2 weeks now, a Steinbeck gift. Thank you so much, my friend. And I've made probably 20 videos with it. You haven't even seen the debacle of comparing the 85mm 1.2 to Canon's 85 1.2 on the Sony. And it was losing my ass constantly. And it was like the worst thing of our time. But I have so many comparisons coming and I've used this thing to death. And my thoughts were, this is basically like an S5 II, only that would probably be even better. Like it would be, it's way better stabe. You get a Leica lens, you get that Leica 15mm Tony 2. That's a 3D pop machine right there. That's the cheapest Leica you can get for L mount. And then you would have like HD 180, slower than this. Panasonic Color Science could be done. So it's like Panasonic had hope, and then I was thinking like the S1H2 or the S2H, maybe that's gonna destroy the A7S III, and then I'm going all in Panasonic. That's where my mind was reaching. The possibilities were endless. But after this, I'm just like, seriously? And you didn't send it to me? Like, what the hell were you thinking? I'm the YouTuber here. I'm the one. You were so embarrassed to send it to me. You knew I would trash it. You were the one company that did not put me on their blacklist. I was so appreciative of that, and all my reviews were very balanced for them. They were always positive, and I told you what to work on. You worked on nothing on that one, but like, I don't get it. What's up with the fear? Oh no, he's gonna insult it too much. Did I insult someone's family in Panasonic? Let me know. I don't know. So like, this is pretty bad. Like a real poor effort. targeted at people who don't even exist. Like a lower end YouTube scrub forum that's like not even ready to upload yet. They're babies. They're 11 years old and they're just getting started. They're not even legal age to upload anything. So I'm disappointed as hell, and I'm weary of the future now for what Panasonic is offering. That scares me, and I'm leaning like Nikon, Sony, Fuji. Those are the three that I'm thinking. All in on one system. Panasonic, you should have been second place in one of those, but you're not. Not yet. So I'm gonna leave. What do you think? Is this like the most disappointing release you've ever seen? How long is this video? Panasonic would have overheated. 17 minutes. Oh, can't do that. Yeah, I'll leave. How you doing? Subscribe for more when I say next.